that all these things shall be dissolved. Because God will somehow make a new heaven and new earth. What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Kaya naibalaan naton, initanan, ma-experiensyahan, ano nga klase nga Kristohanon ka? Kay kung si Pedro pa maghambal, kabay nga makita naton sa atong kabuhi, ang padayon nga pagpaninguha, nga pakabalaanon kita sa Diyos. That will continue to live a holy and godly life. Do ka namin abalangan samtang nagadugay, nagakakilala nato ng Diyos. Kag hindi lang nagakakilala naton siya tungod sa aton yung mga eksperyensya, nagalapit kita sa iya. You know what? If we try to study the dispensationalism often taught us that the various dispensation involve always a test of mankind. And because there's a test, many a times we fail. And because we fail, comes judgment. I just want us to see this glimpse, a glimpse of this. Si Pastor Neil, ang iyang lolo, expert siya ni, no? Nga mag-lecture. In fact, sa Bible School, isa ni ka mister mo, no? Nga ginatunan. Sa pagkasala ni Adam, no? Dira nagsugod ang conscience. But before sina, there's what they called the dispensation of innocence, no? Pagkatapos sina, tungod sang sala, halin sa kay Adan, nakita sang Ginoo ang malain nga mga eksperyensya, kaya mga tao wala na nagrespetar siya, wala na nagasimba siya, except Noah and his family. Then comes the government. After the flood came the government, where people were so knowledgeable. They're full of wisdom. And they thought they could make buildings that would somehow reach them to heaven. And then they failed. And here comes the judges. And the compensation of promise began. After that, the dispensation of the law. In each dispensation, we will see how mankind failed. And now we are in the dispensation of grace. And we realize nga maski pasensyoso sa buong Diyos, napunan sang bugay kag kaluoy, abusador gid ang tao. Abusador gid ang katawan. And that includes us Christians. Am nabala sa masamig ginahambal ko gid nga gasalig lang kita kay palangga kita ni Lord. Given the opportunity to live during the time of the law, nga kung makasala sila ang paghukom sa Ginoo ara dayon, siguro damo na sa aton. Ang wala na diri subong. But then God today is full of grace. He has given us ample time to live godly lives. Sorry to say this. He has still given us a time to change. Because He just wants us to experience a life to the fullness, full of grace, full of mercy, answer to prayers, though we struggle with our lives every day. That is why, writing to Timothy, Paul says, this time is a perilous times. And in Timothy, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 to 5, it says, but mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasures rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people. Kung si Apostol Pablo mangamba, damo na ni sila. Kumo damo na ni sila, kamo mga Kristiyanon, hindi nyo na pagdugangi. But somehow we realize we are battling with this every day. Sometimes perilous times succumb all of us. And in this premise, in these verses, I saw first of all the corruption of character. Corruption of character refers to moral and ethical decay. Nagadugay ang mga tao nagalain. The verse says, men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. The verse describes people in the last days who will exhibit these traits, these moral corruptions, marks a departure from virtuous behavior and ethical principles, highlighting a broader decline in character and values. People of today valued more money than personality. That is why, subong kung damo ka kwarta, respetado ka. People respect you because you have lots of money. And selfishness supplants selflessness. Malas pala ang ginatudlo ni sa aton perme nga mangin mahinatagon kita. Because this selflessness, ang pinaka-the best example sini wala na sing iban kundi ang aton manluluwas nga si Kristo Jesus. But sing ganun sini, selfish behavior or attitudes are replacing or taking over self-less behavior. In other words, people or actions that are focused on personal gain, personal interests, personal desires are becoming more dominant than those focused on helping others and acting with kindness and generosity. Salamat kita sa Ginoo kay nabatyagan naton kung ano kaayos ang Dios. Kung ano katutom sa Ginoo. Kung ano siya kaalwan. Tag sa baylo kita nangin maalwan man sa iban. Pero sa nagadugay, madamo na sang ginalamon sa pagkadalok subong. When selfishness supplants selflessness, it suggests, dearly beloved, a shift in priorities where individual or personal gain overrides concern for others. Writing to Philippi, Paul says, "For all seek their own, not the things which are Jesus Christ." The word seek there simply means to strive after, to desire, and their pursuit of self-interest replaces the selflessness modeled by our very own, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Namiyan ko sa mga ginpawali ni Pastor Neil because it unfolded us how prophecies had been fulfilled. For so long a time, we've been studying the end times in the Bible school, and it was told nga initanan ng mga butang, it is more on spiritual. Nga mga deserted areas, mga barren places, someday the Lord will bless this and it will be fruitful. It will yield many fruits, much fruits. Abi namon, spiritual lang na. Pero subong nakita na naton how Pastor Neil elaborated to all of us. Even then, we cannot avoid to learn that in the last days, we are in a perilous moment. In the end times, Paul said to the Romans, there will be backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. Ang pakalain sa iban, hayag-hayaga na subong, para mapabalo nga sila lang mayo. Si Santiago nagsulat sa mga kauturan sa Jerusalem, and he said, "For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work." Selflessness supplants selflessness, and carnality conquers conscience. Amo ni ang pinakasubo-subong. Kay mas kay Kristohanon, daw wala na ginakonsensya nga magpakasala. Daw wala na ginakonsensya nga maghimo sa hindi nami. And when carnality conquers conscience, it implies, dearly beloved, that primal desires or instincts take control over persons' moral and ethical decision-making, leading them to act based on bodily urges rather than their sense